Caca Legion. Welcome to Tales from the Grim and Wild Blue Yonder, Our Lady Blackbird campaign. I'm Lauren, your feisty navigator for this evening's adventure, along with this upstanding cast of characters. Also, Greg's here. Greg, who are you? What are you doing?
My name's Greg, Grimjack21502 on the Twitters. Tales from the Grim here on the Twitch. For the next 2 hours, I will be the one and only Cyrus Vance of your dreams, Captain of the Owl, friend to all, beholden to no GM, a rebel. Back to you, Lauren.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to turn out very well for you on International GM's Day. Thank you, Levi, for that donation for a complication. Definitely not specifically for Greg. Anyway, moving along to a wonderful person, Serena. Hello, how are you? Who are you? Who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Serena Marie on the Twitter and in life. I'm playing Kaylin, our mechanic and first mate of the owl, Kaka. Happy Monday.
That is right. That is right. Oh, so happy. Going along to one of my GMs, Alice. Hello. God, it feels longer and longer
every week. Yeah, every single week. Yeah. It's Monday again. I'm so excited. I'm Alice, or White Rabbit Pick on the Twitters, and I play our good little goblin boy, he's quite tall at the moment. Our tall goblin boy, who is also our pilot, and he's called Snargle, and I love him.
He is a very good and very charismatic boy. All right, let's go over to Kiana. Hello, friend.
Hi, BFF. I'm happy to be back here. It's Monday. We got to go back to the Blue with this crew. Oh man, lots of things happened the other week, which we're not going to talk about.
No, we are. I'm gonna. It's in my notes.
Yeah, I know. But it's going to be a super chill episode. The most chill that we've had this entire season. I'm sure it's going to be just some nice conversations over tea. That's what it's going to be. And we'll see what Artemis, my character, has to say. She is the loyal valet to the Blackbird household. That's all I'm going to say about her right now.
Yep. That totally sums Artemis up completely. Going along to our darling Lord Blackbird, Tommy. Who are you? How are you? Who are you playing?
Who I am as Tommy is a much more difficult question to answer. How much time do you have? We can get all philosophical about it.
We have an hour 50.
No, I'm Tommy, Imperator Pengu on the Twitters. I will be playing back to Good Boy Nat today, hopefully. We'll see. Lord Blackbird, Natalia Syri. Good boy, romantic lover boy, just wants his pirate king boy. Please give me.
Hey, maybe we'll meet Pirate King Uriah Flint today. No.
Mm-hmm. I would love it.
No. Anyways. So we have just passed the halfway point of this campaign, so here's where the proverbial owl droppings hit the fan. But for anyone new joining us, this is Lady Blackbird. It's a Powered by the Apocalypse system by John Harper. So in substats, you've got traits and tags and the number of applicable tags for the given task determines the number of dice you roll. You're hoping to meet a difficulty level that I set. More dice, the better chance of success. I nailed that. Didn't even look at my notes. If you look below, you'll see our donation options, which give everyone at home the chance to impact the narrative, whether you'd like to help or complicate the outsiders' lives. I know which one I prefer. We reached our donation goal last week, so we'll be having a special delivery straw poll in the chat. Kiana, you can go ahead and spam that. Snargle is not there because Snargle has already received his special delivery. In terms of the world, for any new folks out there, all you need to know is this. The wild blue is breathable. The depths below it are not. The Empire rules even on the free world. The solar system is small, taking only 6 weeks to cross. Beyond it is the void with its purplish tint. Magic, also known as essence, is rare and coveted and powers pretty much everything in the blue. The largest source of it is the star at the center of the system, known affectionately as Stella, and she is dying. Now for our recap. Our good robot boy, Victor, the crew's new friend, received a telepathic message from the same voice who had seemingly reached out to Nat before. This childlike voice told Victor to warn the Owl's crew to stay away from Victor's homeworld. Meanwhile, a shape-warped Snargle and oblivious Nat tried to return to the ship, but it was being inspected by a young woman wearing the uniform of a scientific organization known only as the Veil. Props, no biggie. Don't need to write that down. It's not a big deal. Snargle distracted the already seemingly conflicted young woman by flirting with her, and he was like real good at it. He managed to gain access to the ship, and she apparently left without doing whatever it was she was going to do. On the other side of Nightport, we had Captain Cyrus Vance chasing after First Mate Kaylin, who was busy turning her kidnapping by Captain Micah Hunter of the Crimson Voidwalkers into a mugging of said unfortunate-looking captain. Vance reached Kale and, tapping into a new power, flew into the air with her, narrowly avoiding a fatal shot. The crew said goodbye to Victor at the docks as their new friend took possession of an unguarded ship and flew off into the blue, never giving his new friends that voice's warning. So, it's been about a week of travel. We're going to hop forward in time, and these refreshment scenes will fill in the gaps. The only lead all of you have on your mission, which is totally still to reunite Nat with Pirate King Uriah Flint, of course, top priority. He knows it, I know it, it's gonna happen. Is that he apparently has a hidden fortress somewhere in the remnants. The Imperials are still after you, as you can hear. The remnants is a swirling maelstrom of spinning world shards, almost impossible to navigate. And that's where it's rumored that Pirate King Uriah Flint has his hidden fortress. But most ships that venture out there are never heard from again. It does border the void, the area surrounding the blue that nobody has ever traversed. At least nobody any of you have ever heard of. So, let's see. Who should we start with? What do I want to do? I'm going to start with Artemis. Hey, girl.
Of course you do.
I do. Oh, real quick, and just to tell everyone, we're doing refreshment scenes, which is this system's version of a long rest, but it's not really time that matters here as much as it is role play with another crew member or with an NPC in a flashback, so you get to know more about the characters. Artemis, before we get to your refreshment scene, what's on Artemis's mind over this week of travel?
It's been trying to figure out how to handle the situation. Currently, her loyalties are torn. She has a duty to the Blackbird household to report on the whereabouts of Lord Blackbird, and well, there's been a complication with the arrival of High Commander Cross. who has pressured the return of one Lord Blackbird in not so many words as actions. Would the Blackbird house suffer if not done? However, Nat's her best friend, basically her brother, been by his side for 10 years. And she just wants what's best for him. So her mind is just constantly going over how to do this. She knows that she's meant to drop off or direct the ship and get Nat to a base close to Stella. But with the way they're going, it's basically a now or never kind of situation. Either start redirecting the ship now or don't do it at all.
So one of these nights, as you lie awake, weighing these loyalties, you see out of the window, out of the rounded window in your room, Stella far in the distance. As you look out, she, if you can characterize her as a she, but most sailors do, she flares. And that bright light it's far too bright for the distance that you're at heading into the remnants. Stella has flared before, and it's been a sight for the imperial nobles to gawk at. But something about this is painful to look at. It brings you back as you drift off to your time on Nightport in the past. You see a man slightly in front of you, but holding your hand, a tall man, broad shoulders, you know the drill, twinkling green eyes, as Captain Micah Hunter squeezes your palm. It's gonna be all right. They don't suspect nothing. Especially not with your face like it is.
But I was the one that was supposed to just... Anyways, it should be fine, right?
Yeah, darling. Don't you trust me? His face flickers, and for a moment you see the blonde hair and wild blue eyes of Cyrus Vance, and then it's gone. Micah brings your hand up and kisses the top of it, squeezing it again.
Of course I do. Right. Tomorrow morning, we just go in, have our spiel about how we're there to join the rebellion, and then when they suspect it, well, we take them down. That's the plan.
He starts walking. You remember this conversation is a much longer one. You walked for a long time, but time seems faster, like you've flashed forward and you're in an alley in the middle of the day on the light side of Nightport. It's much warmer than you remember it being. And as you feel this, as Micah gives you another confident smile and a wink, some figures ahead of you start to emerge from the shadows. And then it's all sound and fury. Bricks falling, dust clouding, light flashing in your eyes. You think maybe you are looking up at the white sky. You blink, you are on the ground, you are bleeding. What do you do?
I start to try to sit up, but as I try to place my arm to prop myself up, I fall because there's nothing there anymore. And I just... Micah?
You hear screams in the distance.
Micah?
You can't see much more than a foot in front of your face. It's all still clouded.
And just starting to try to pull myself up again. Now just shifting. Right, I don't have that arm to prop up anymore. And just keeps shouting. Micah?
No one answers Artemis. You eventually can start to see shapes through the dust. You can regain your sense of direction. But you do not see Micah Hunter. You don't see him anywhere. You look down at the space where your arm used to be. And something happens that you don't remember. This doesn't feel real. It's like tendrils of light start to emerge from your arm and twine around each other. Your whole body starts to light up. And it hurts.
And as this burning pain starts to take over, just start clutching onto myself as if I'm the only thing that can anchor me to this moment. And just... Felix? Layla? Eleanor? Micah? Where are you?
You can hear distant voices. Maybe one's Micah, maybe Felix, but you can't make out any clarity until you hear Nat. And he's not as loud as the rest. It's like he's standing right next to you saying your name. And your eyes shoot open, and you're in your bunk on the owl.
I tell you, is Nat waking her. Okay, just
Would
making
you?
sure.
Yeah, if you'd like to
Yeah.
be. Sure.
Gosh, are you okay?
Nat would know this. She sometimes wakes up or has nightmares. And it just takes her a long time to just continue, almost as if she can't remember how to breathe for a while. I'm all right. I think.
It's okay. You were having a nightmare. It's all right now. Was it of your army friends? Of your experiences again?
Always is. And I think without even thinking about it, she's been clutching onto your hand with the metal arm. I never really told you much about what happened.
Not too much. You told me some of the fun stories.
The fun stories is what I'd like to remember. Well, they are the ones that weigh heavier on the mind. Micah, well, I told you that he and I were in the same unit. It's a little more than that.
So I've gathered by now. He's the unfortunate looking one, according to the captain.
I really don't know why he would say that.
I have no idea either. I haven't gotten to see him yet. It's unfortunate, or fortunate, depending on how you look at it.
Well, considering what he's doing now, I would think that it would not be good news if you ever saw him.
I suspect not.
I don't understand. Well, it's been 10 years since I last saw him, and yet I don't know why he would be doing this now. Mercenary work. Or worse, from my understandings.
people change over time. Things happen in their life that send them spinning in a different direction.
Yes, things do happen. Right before I came and started serving the Blackbird household, I was on a mission to Nightport. It was just supposed to be a regular espionage situation. But things happened. And I lost that mission. I lost my arm. And very quickly afterwards, I decommissioned. If it wasn't for your family, I don't know where I'd be right now.
I hate to say that I'm glad that I certainly would, if you could have your arm back, I would certainly, wouldn't want that to happen again. But I am glad that there were things in your life that sent you spinning towards us. If they hadn't, I would have never met you. You've never met my best friend.
I'm glad to.
As Nat talks about events spinning, we go to the core of the owl. It's spinning disco ball of an engine after being infused with Nat's magic. And we see Kale at her post as she is. What are you doing, Kale?
Kale is very methodical when she's checking the engine. It's like one of her another one of her comfort things. She makes sure that everything is in its place and as it should be. Everything is stocked. All of her supplies and everything else is organized and very neat and very tidy. So she's kind of going back and forth with that.
And you are very meticulous. The owl is very well taken care of. If it looks chaotic or messy to anyone else, it would not be to you, because that is how you intend for it to be.
Yes. Yeah. So if anyone else were to go down there, it would probably look like a hot disaster. But she knows where everything is. And it's probably the only thing she's actually really organized with. Her room is probably a hot disaster.
Mm-hmm. And everything is functioning perfectly right now. All the readings are where they should be. Everything, when you listen to the sound of the engine, is all in perfect condition. And then all the lights go out.
All right. don't panic. You're by yourself. Don't panic. Everything's cool. Everything's great. And I'm gonna like start checking stuff. I don't know.
Everything reads as it should. But as the engine in front of you, as those twinkling disco ball lights die, you realize how silent the owl feels. You don't hear Vance's boots echoing as he moves around. You don't hear laughter from the cockpit, which you usually can if you know where to stand and how the pipes move through the owl. You don't hear that at all.
Kale, she does not like being like left alone. Like she's used to like the hum of the ship or knowing that someone's in the ship with her, but when she feels like truly alone, she her breathing starts to shallow a bit, and she starts kind of making her way up and out of the she wants to be around a person.
It's dark and cold as you move through the owl's hallways. It doesn't necessarily feel like your ship. It feels like a husk.
So she starts panicking a little bit, like her anxiety is starting to rise, and she feels like she's in something that's dead, like the ship has died and she's inside of its belly. This feeling of fear starts to just like creep in on her, and she looks for the nearest wall. And she's gonna try to follow that wall to a corner, follow that corner to another wall, and she's trying to get out, but she's tapping the wall to make a sound as she's walking past.
Mm-hmm. And with that beat, you move up through the belly of the beast. You know this ship with your eyes closed easy, but you're not emerging where you should. You should be able to, at this point, see the glass that is in the cockpit, the one that opens where you can always see the star.
Vance? And she's gonna try to get out. She's starting to really panic. Vance?
Your hand leaves the wall. You're in the cockpit. It's still dark. There's a very gray light filling it. And you see Captain Vance behind the chair where Snargle's sitting. The two seem to be laughing, joking about something, reaching for a bottle.
She kind of stumbles up, and it's like this, it's such a dissonance, right? Like she's by herself, she's scared, and all of a sudden her friends are there. So it's she feels this wave of relief, but she is shaking and she is pale.
They don't turn around at the sound of your voice or footsteps. Something about them in this wash of gray light. It's like they're transparent. It's...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So she's walking closer, and she's gonna try to touch Snargle on the shoulder. Snargle?
Your hand passes through him.
Oh no. I'm all by myself. Vance, Snargle, I'm all alone. And I'm gonna start running through the owl.
The owl walls and floor fade away, and you are floating in the blue. All you can see is that gray, sickly light from Stella, but it begins to flare, and the cold of the outside air is warm. It's painful, but it's warm, and you feel like someone is reaching out to touch you.
Kale doesn't understand this moment, but she's gonna reach back to it.
As you extend your consciousness, the pain ceases. It's now like a warm pulse, like you're being cradled, like whatever it is feels relief that you reached out to touch it too.
What are you? Who are you?
The light flares again, and you're back in the owl. The engine room is alive. It's moving. It's dazzling. It's warm here. You can hear the sounds of the ship. In the steam, it's much hotter than you usually keep it, although it seems fine as this kind of wash of warm, humid air as you wake up from that.
Kale, it was... She's trying to understand where she went and what happened to her. It feels like maybe she passed out for a second and is waking up again, or
I feel like you've had one of those really heavy naps somewhere humid. It's like everything is kind of sticking to you.
Kale wants to go upstairs and be around real people.
Yeah, who would you like to find? Who would you like to seek out?
I would like to seek out Vance.
Where would Kale find Vance late at night at some point on this journey to the remnants?
Vance is in the corner of the galley, a bottle empty between his legs, a bottle half filled in his hand, the brace on his leg revealed as he's pulled up his pant leg. It's unstrapped as he rubs the incredible swath of scars along his leg. He has been, and will continue to drink. And in his mind, he's seeing a little girl dance.
Kale, this is what you see.
She kind of gently, very gently, Vance.
Hey.
Hey.
He pats the decking beside him. Take a load off.
Where'd you go?
Past, I guess. Sit down. Have a drink.
Yeah, and Kale sits down next to him and grabs a glass and pours whatever he has in her glass.
He takes the glass for himself and hands the bottle over to his first mate.
Have you noticed anything strange lately other than the usual strangeness that is our crew?
No? What, what have you noticed? You see a lot more than I do.
And Kale thinks about like not wanting to seem like a weenie right now. So she pauses. I don't know, sometimes it feels like the owl's talking to us. You know what I mean? Not just mechanical parts doing their thing, but a conversation. And sometimes I think the owl's trying to talk to me, and I can't understand what she's trying to say.
Well, me and Snargle, and he taps the decking again. The owl will, she'll scream at us from time to time. Get our attention because we don't listen so well. But she'll whisper to you because you listen. So if you're hearing something from her, then I trust you. He taps the deck again. I trust her. What's wrong?
I had a nightmare. Wow. I was definitely trying to not do this in front of you, but I don't know. I was like a ghost. I was nowhere, and I stopped existing for a little bit, and you couldn't see me, and I was by myself. And you are and Snargle are all I have. And I just don't know what I would do if I didn't have you as my family. It was scary.
If she'll allow him, he's just goes to reach to wrap her in his left arm and pull her close as they sit beside one another. It's awful. Hey, you may want to someday, and you may wish that I'd get out of your hair, but I'm never gonna leave you alone. Not in an alleyway with some unfortunate looking prick. Not anywhere else. And I know you'll come for me too. We'll go for Snargle. Hell, we might even go for the Blackbird kid.
I think we might have to go for him.
Why?
I'm afraid for him. I'm afraid that I'm afraid that Artemis might hurt him. Or not hurt him physically. I don't think she would do that to him, but I think that I'm scared that she's gonna betray his trust and hurt him. But I don't know.
I trust you. If that's what you think, I'm gonna have a talk with Art.
Well, do you need to talk to her now, or we can just...
Yeah, I can do it now.
Oh, no.
Vance rises?
Before he does, he will pull his first mate in close, hug her tight, and as he's just kind of patting the back of her shoulder, "It's all right, little Gwen, it's all right.
Oh.
Be fine." And he stands up, squeezes the shoulder one last time, forgets to tighten his brace as it slips down to his ankle and begins to limp and lean against the wall as he goes in search for Art.
We will come back to that. Snargle! Good buddy, good pal. You don't look scared.
No.
What has Snargle been getting up to during this week of travel?
Snargle's got his feet up. He's just guiding the owl, and every now and then, what the others don't know is that he keeps like a small pocket mirror just under his chair. And now that he's basically become his normal size again, he's got his boots up on the side, and he's holding like this. It's more like a broken piece of mirror. It's not an actual mirror. And he's holding it up, and he's looking at his scar that runs all the way down his face, down his neck, across his chest. And where he grew taller, it looks like red raw. Like this is the one bit of him that doesn't stretch, as it were. And he's doing all he can with it. Like, he doesn't know how to look after this. So every now and then he just gets some alcohol and puts it on like a handkerchief or something, or a scarf, and he holds it there because he thinks if it burns, it helps. He thinks that's what it's doing, it's sealing it. And he spends a lot of time when no one else is around doing this, just checking it's okay. Again, like he looks down at his chest briefly and like starts putting, like he puts a soaked scarf like down the side and just sort of hold onto it. And every time someone comes in the room, it's quick to, yep, I'm fine. And he also spends the week retopping up all of the bottles of alcohol from all the liquor he didn't drink, as he puts it back in their hidden spots.
As you put these away in, say in the cockpit, and the cockpit's many hidden stores, you notice the floor is wet.
And he sort of looks up, looks to the side. We got a leak? Like,
Nothing coming from above, but the floor, it's not quite coated.
Huh. And he reaches his hand down and just like puts on his hand and he's smelling it like,
That's booze.
did I drop some? Oh, where's Vance? Like, and he just starts to, if there's like a trail, he follows it. But all the while he's just seeing where it goes, and he opens like the little hatches just to see how much alcohol's in them and go along.
It's not a trail so much. Nothing seems broken. You don't see any shattered glass, but it is everywhere.
Oh. This is a waste. Vance is not going to be happy.
And the ship rocks to the right as you've left your station. You don't know why, but the whole thing moves violently.
He sort of he steadies himself and turns around and sprints back to his station and just starts checking everything's working, everything's okay if he can't see anything.
It's difficult to move through because the ship goes the other way. It's going back and forth. You can make your way up. You have your ways of moving about, especially in the owl. But the scar on your face begins to itch. Seems irritated. And the more you touch it, the more that irritation grows.
And he reaches down for one of the scarves and just holds it against his face. Okay. Let's go find out what's going on. And he's hyping himself up and he's talking to himself to get back towards his seat.
The irritation is not irritation anymore. It's burning.
And he starts to breathe quite heavily, and if he reaches his seat in time, he sort of collapses on the floor, one hand holding his face and one hand holding onto the armrest. He's like, why is this and he sort of starts freaking him, sort of, this doesn't make sense. Why is this happening?
As you clutch at your chair, you can feel the scar. It almost feels like it's fresh again, like it's splitting open. You look up in your chair and someone else sits there.
He sort of recoils, grabbing his chest and his face now, as it burns all down his shoulder, all across his back, across his chest. I don't understand what's happening. Get out of my seat. That's not your seat. That's my seat. You can't fly the owl.
The shape blurs. First it seemed human, tall, with shaggy, grayish black hair, but it shrinks, becomes thinner, more angular. The eyes are blue, much like yours, but the jaw is sharp. The form is a little taller. The smile is definitely less friendly, but otherwise this could be the spitting image of you.
He sort of heaves himself to his feet after backing up. It's just like, and he, as much as he's still clutching onto his shoulder, there's like his heavy breathing. He's, that's not your chair. Get out of my chair. It's not fair. No, get out of my chair now.
He smiles wider and turns away from you.
And he sort of tries to reach him and grab for him if he can, like by the lapels or the scruff. He's just like, I said get out of my chair.
From
right up.
You look into this all too familiar face as your brother just starts laughing and laughing and laughing. He reaches into his waistcoat and pulls out a gun, aims it at the console, and sparks begin to fly.
And you see probably the absolute horror and fear on Snargle's face, and he puts himself in front of it. He goes, no, 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 please, not my ship. Anything but my ship. Don't touch it.
The spark hit the floor. The alcohol everywhere ignites, now much like a trail moving through the ship. It's small at first. It's like you're seeing it move in slow motion as the flames rise, and you feel your skin beginning to char.
No, this you can't be here. This isn't. And he falls down and he'll crawl under. Effectively, if there's like a desk, like a level, he'll crawl under and just put his head down. He's like, I've done this once before, I can do it again. It wasn't my fault. And he's just he freaks. He starts hitting the side every single time. He's just like, Vance, Kale, where are you? Like, he just starts banging on everything, and he doesn't even want to see his brother now. He pulls his hat over his head, he pulls his goggles on, he pulls his scarf up over his face, and he tucks himself in underneath this as far as he can and tries to get as small as possible.
As you tuck yourself away, the figure stoops down. Not your brother. That, whatever that was also not your brother. As Lucy's freckled face with her shaggy black hair kneels down, but her eyes that are usually green are white.
And he stares at her, and it's just trying to catch his breath. He's like, back up, go away.
Just breathe.
Get away from me. You're not Lucy. You're not Lucy at all. What? I said back off.
She does. She's still on level with you. You know that wasn't him. He wasn't even there.
Then what are you?
I don't know. And you blink your eyes. She's gone. You are under the console, wrapped up. But there's no fire. It's dark, and not in a scary way, but a homey way. It's back how it should be. You're cruising.
And Snargle will probably pull the chair closer towards it, like reach out and pull it so that no one can see he's under there if they go up there. And he just sobs. He just absolutely sobs. And he will stay there. He pulls out his hip flask, smells its contents, and takes a
Oh no, we lost Alice. Come back to us, Alice. Wait, 3, 2,
swig.
1.
It's not alcohol. Am I here? Am I
Yes,
still
you're
here?
back.
There we
You're
go.
back.
He reaches into his waistcoat and pulls out a hip flask, unscrews the top, sniffs it. It's not alcohol at all, but he smells it. Okay. And he just swigs it and then puts his head in his knees and stays there.
Let's say another day. after you've had time to process, is there anyone that Snargle would like to speak with?
I think he'd go to Kale.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be very much to see if she had anything for this, because he does not know what he's doing.
Where would Kale be after the events of that night?
She would definitely be in like the kitchen. She is, instead of baking large quantities of things, she has put together I don't know if you've seen the show Christie's something of where she makes these monster cakes. She's not making a monster cake, but she's definitely building and piping a large cake right now.
This is how you find Kale in the galley. It smells amazing in here.
Yeah. He sort of walks past and then backs up. He's like, oh my god, that smells good. Kale, question.
Yes.
It sort of happened again. I haven't done the whole stretch. Do you have anything? Because the alcohol just kind of burns a little bit.
Oh, let me see. And is it like a? What does it look like?
So it was a scar, but where
Yeah.
he stretched, it's like it's split. It's sort of
Split. Oh.
It's just sore more than anything else.
Yeah. Follow me, and she's gonna go into part like so through the kitchen. There is a little like medic area. It's small because it's just us, but it has all of our supplies, our bandages, creams, and Kale takes out a jar, and as she opens it up, it smells very herbal.
He
and
wrinkles his nose.
I know. Now, this is gonna sting just a little bit, and then it's gonna feel okay, okay?
Okay.
All right, and
He sort of hops himself like he'll either find somewhere to sit down, and when I say he hops on a table, he probably climbs onto a table with his little legs dangling off the side, and he just sort of puts his face out. Kale's probably done this before.
yeah. And so she dips her finger into this this ointment, and it smells sort of like lavender and eucalyptus, and puts that on his cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But stings a little bit. Like, but he lets you do it. Okay, I can never remember which one it is.
I know there's a lot.
should
Go
really
ahead.
label them.
Well, I know where they are.
True.
I haven't seen you in like a day. Where have you been?
Just no, hang on. Just relaxing. You know, it's tiring going up and down. Haven't done it in a while.
I'm surprised you've been able to relax. I feel like I've been on pins and needles since Nightport.
Yeah. It's pins and needles, yeah. Exactly that, yeah. It's been a bit weird. This sounds really stupid. Can you get like flight sickness even though you're a pilot? Like, you know, see things? Do the fumes come up, and can they
what type of things did you see, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, you're gonna think I'm crazy.
Try me.
Fire, mostly. Yeah, that's it. Fire. Everywhere. Like first of all, I saw alcohol everywhere, and I thought Vance had, spilled, like last time.
Yeah.
And I was gonna go find the mop, and then I couldn't find the mop, and then
I thought I saw someone in my chair, but anyway, there was a lot of fire.
And he sort of breaks a tiny bit, like his voice breaks. He's like,
It's just a lot of fire.
Well, a very similar type of thing happened to me yesterday. It wasn't fire or anything else. It was nothing. It was I don't think you're crazy. First of all, I don't think you're
Yes.
crazy at all.
he's like wringing his hands, like,
Good.
I don't know what is going on. Do you believe in the paranormal?
Well, I didn't. Do you?
Well, I believe that I think that sometimes energy becomes echoes, and energy sometimes has a language that we can't understand. And when it wants to make contact, it can be scary. And I think that this ship is haunted. If I'm just gonna lay it out there, I think this ship is haunted, and I've been just trying to keep it in, but I think that there might be like a ghost or some type of terrible thing possessing the ship.
What kind of haunted? What's happened?
Well, similarly to you, I passed out when I was in the engine room, and it was my worst fear in front of me, and I felt trapped and I couldn't get out of it. And but it happened to you too. And that's a pattern, right? If it happens to someone else, it's definitely a pattern. I don't know if that means we need to go find like an expert or something.
What kind of expert?
Like someone who specializes in like ship spirits or ship magic. Like,
It might help. I mean, I don't really want to experience that again.
I don't either. It was really scary.
Are you okay?
But the fact that you saw it, that means I'm not crazy. I've been walking around with it thinking that I was the only one, and that it was something wrong with me, but you know it. So I'm not broken, and there's nothing wrong with me. So but you know it too.
Kale, you're not broken. You're really not. I mean, we could both be crazy.
I mean, that's a theory as well. Yeah.
I don't think we're broken.
I don't think so either.
I think there's something weird going on. And I mean, we've encountered weird stuff before, quite a lot lately, actually.
It's true, very true.
Yeah. You're... Again, you don't have to tell me either. Your worst fear, you were trapped. You were on your own, weren't you?
Yeah. I saw you and Vance and you didn't see me, so I just, I didn't exist anymore.
Well, I can see you now, and
he sort of reaches out and he pulls you in for like a hug, and he's like,
and I'm solid. I'm not a ghost. You're real. I'm real. So I tell you what, we'll do this if you ever question it.
I like that.
Okay. I am gonna let go now though, because my chest really hurts.
Yeah, I'm hugging you too tight right now. I'm just like in there. Sorry.
It's fine. It's the bird. It's fine. Like, and just sort of. It's good. You, me, and Vance. It's always been us. Always will be.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get Nat to his pirate person. Who? Let's talk about that. I don't think I've told you anything about that.
Speaking of Nat and his pirate person, we float away from this scene between two family members and to drift down on a dozing Nat, maybe reading. What have you been getting up to, Nat, over the week?
Nat is composing right now. Heard a lot of and from various places in the ship. Like, I think there's a time where, he was in the engine room, or there's a time he was in the galley, sometimes from their own rooms, but he is composing a song. And so there's oftentimes very, short bursts of music followed by furious scribbling, followed by talking to himself. Just, no, that's not right. There are times where it's like very discordant, like the music is just like, no. It's not working out, but he's been composing.
What's the feel of this piece?
It is, it's got a couple different feels. I think it sort of starts out slow, and it feels like at the beginning discovering the world, sort of slow, as if, for the first time seeing the world, right? It's that slow taking everything in, and then there is followed by some more faster and happier notes before it hits a wall and it stops, and then you hear those happy notes again, but then it hits the wall again, and each time the pause is shorter and shorter, and the notes become more and more discordant until it hits that wall again and stops.
As you finish playing, maybe your arms sore from the effort you put into it. Maybe your heart sore too. You hear a voice from behind you. Why'd you stop playing? It was lovely.
Nat sort of holds his sort of lets the violin sort of slip from his shoulder and slowly turns around.
You are not on the owl. You are on a balcony, on a bench, under a starry, starry sky. Almost like a beam of Stella has spotlighted you. You hear music, definitely not as good as your music, coming from the distance. And there is a man standing there. A masked man, much as many of the guests here are masked. but you can see kind of longish red hair with gold highlights. And you can see these eyes through the mask, almost like liquid gold through them. Not the most expensive of outfits, but very dashing nonetheless.
He wears it well.
He does, that he does.
Nat sort of looks. I don't know the notes that come afterwards.
That's the fun part, isn't it?
I suppose, but then I don't know where the song goes.
Maybe the song leads to a dance.
Many songs tend to. Is that an offer?
He holds out his hand to you.
Nat will gently set his violin into the very nice case that it resides in, all sort of velvet lining, and sets it very carefully in. And we'll take his hand.
How does Nat feel holding this man's hand as he walks back toward the party and its many, many guests?
Nat is curious because he definitely told Art not to let anyone bother because he was in one of his sort of moods. So he's like, you had to try to get around Art.
Is that the severe looking one?
I suppose that's one way to describe her, yes.
I confess to maybe having caused a little bit of a distraction to do that.
I wouldn't let her find out that you did.
Oh, I have no intention.
So Nat is curious. He was in a very sort of melancholic mood before, but this stranger has piqued his curiosity, and so he'll go along for the dance.
A lot of people stare as this. You don't know this man, and it doesn't seem like anyone else does, but people are staring as the two of you cut a very striking figure. People almost move out of your way as this man is very athletic, but not ungraceful. And he seems to be showing off a little, but not for them.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes don't leave you.
Well, Nat's eyes don't leave his.
As you look at him, the light dims a little, and his eyes almost seem fiery in the dim lamplight. He hasn't said another word. He's just been looking. He's a bit taller than you, actually, which is rare.
Yeah, that's fairly tall. I think Nat's a little flustered about towards after a little bit of the dance. It's like, you certainly know how to dance very well. I've not seen you around here before.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Are you from one of the outer colonies?
You could say that.
Are they all as good at dancing as you are?
He leans forward to where his face is just past your face and whispers in your ear. You think I'm a good dancer?
I think you think you're a good dancer, and you wouldn't be wrong.
He throws back his head and laughs. It doesn't echo through, but you see this kind of, none of the stress that you've ever carried is in him. He seems so carefree and he laughs. The song ends. Would you like another?
I would love another dance.
This time, the man puts his hands near your waist and lifts you up. Does a half spin and plops you down on the other side. This was kind of a jig, I guess.
Are you sure? I don't. Wow. What did you say your name was again?
I didn't love.
May I have it then?
If you tell me one thing.
Mm-hmm.
He steps closer, bends down just a little bit, not much, to look in your eyes. Why is there a storm in your eyes?
Because it doesn't know where to go.
I have a place. And he pulls you in for a long kiss.
Nat does not stop. I think it's like the shocked at the just but Nat doesn't stop him. May lean into it a little bit towards the end.
Nat, you remember the rest of the night as it was. The final exchange of names out on the balcony. But now, as this man, Uriah Flint, pulls back, his face is haggard, paler, and blank. The sparks that were there are faded. He's staring hard at you.
Uriah, are you all right?
He reaches out a hand to touch your face, your cheek. But there's no light in his eyes.
Nat will sort of grab his hand, or like place a hand over his hand. Is something wrong?
His hand begins to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and he is not moving it.
Uriah, you're burning up. We should get you to a doctor.
His thumb starts to drift up to over your eye where your birthmark is.
It's all right. I'm here. We can get you help, whatever it is.
There's no change in expression. His hand continues to move across your face till it's covering the whole front, and it's still getting hotter.
Nat will try to pull his hand from his face.
It's not moving.
Uriah, you're scaring me. What's wrong? Talk to me, please.
Part of his hand covers your mouth and your nose like you can't breathe, and the heat intensifies so much that you can start to smell the burnt skin.
Uriah, please let go. You're hurting me.
His hand bursts into flames, and you know no more. This is your bunk. You have finished composing. The strings are still hot. You are alone.
Nat looks around, looks at the violin in his arms and furious scribbling on sheet music. I think for the moment he plays the song again in its entirety.
Does he name the song anything?
It's called The Gilded Cage.
As Nat plays, does this tune draw anyone to him? Anybody he wants to talk to?
I think I think he talks to I think he talks to Kale. I think he draws Kale in because I think they've had a friendship that has been sort of building.
Mm-hmm.
You find Kale with... How much cake is left, Kale?
I think that Snargle and I have eaten like a whole entire half of it. In my mind, it's a large cake. So I have a piece that's the size of maybe a football that I'm sort of bringing to Nat. Hi, I heard you're playing.
Um, um, yes, I've been composing, and I think I've just, well, at least finished the first act.
An act? It's like a show?
Sort of. It's a show, but expressed through purely music. But the idea is to evoke emotion and imagery through that music. And there are usually many parts to a piece, as there are many parts to a story or a play.
She kind of sits the piece of this cake on a table in his room and looks at him and says, "Well, what part of your story are you in?"
I am in the act of the journey right now. Seeing what is beyond the edge of, well, the map, perhaps. Quite literally here soon. We are traveling far off the map.
I mean, that's where the good stuff is, right? Off the map where no one has seen. I mean, maps are written by people because they've been there, you know?
Mm-hmm. I suppose I must be honest, I only really know what I've read in books or discussed with other people. This has been my first time off of Elysium.
How would you rate it? Your first time off Elysium?
It's been different. It's been fun. I've gotten to meet some pretty amazing people. Like you all here on the Owl.
Is Nat sitting on his bed, or how does Nat's room look?
Well, so Art and Nat share a room, right? Okay. So Nat is sitting on his bed, sort of cross-legged up on his bed with the violin sort of nestled. And he's just got sheet music just spread out all in front of him. He's got his sleeves rolled up right now, no coat, just casual.
So when they're chatting about this, Kale is gonna gently move some of the sheet music, grab the cake, and sort of like slumber party status, like sit on his bed cross-legged with him as they're talking. Yeah, I think that I wouldn't be able to tell that this was your first. I mean, I could tell this was your first time off of Elysium, but that's not a bad thing. If that makes sense.
I get what you're trying to say. I suppose I probably stick out a little bit.
I mean, everybody sticks out for different reasons, right? I think that your disposition makes you special. Not a lot of people care about things the way that you care about them, or see the world the way that you do. It's sometimes I wish I could see the world the way that you do.
Well, I must say that for a long time, the world I saw was very, very small. I want to ask, what was it like growing up out here?
Um, and Kale she pauses and then she looks at him and says, well, I came from a very small village. And it was, everyone had a job that they were good at. But my mom was, she was sort of an academic, a scientist. She studied Stella. But that was until the Crimson Voidwalkers came, and things were very bad for a long time.
That was those folks we ran into the other day.
Yeah. When they came to my village, I think that the adults might have made a deal, or it wasn't maybe supposed to be the way that it was, but they were looking for something. And as soon as they found it, they were done, and I was able to get out, but I might have been the only one.
I'm sorry for your loss.
And no, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, I'm sorry I had you bring it up, but I do enjoy hearing your stories.
Yeah.
I lost
But
my father a couple years back.
I'm sorry. I thought I don't know what I thought. For some reason in my mind you had this perfect. I didn't know you had lost anyone.
Funny thing is, I don't know if I'm sad that I lost him. I didn't know him particularly well. Other than what the servants and my sister told me that he wanted for me. It's about as well as I knew. As well as I knew him.
But you have Artemis, right? Did Artemis take care of you during that time, or?
Yes, she has been the older sister that I never really had in my real sister.
Your family didn't get along? You had sisters?
It's less of getting along and more... Everyone was always doing something or had something to do. Everyone has a job in the family, so to speak. My sister was preparing to take over the business and the family. I spent a lot of time with people from other families, exchanging pleasantries and speaking a lot, trying to trying to make connections for the family. So we didn't see a lot after we started growing up of each other.
Sounds like you were doing all the talking, but no one was really listening, huh?
I mean, I must be honest, I haven't really said a lot worth listening to. At least not to them. But the important people listen. That's what's important.
Kale's kind of fidgeting and like kind of stabbing at the cake a little bit. And she looks at Nat and says, you know, if for whatever reason, if you know, we take you to Uriah Flint and he is just awful or not nice to you for, you know, whatever reason, I'm just throwing it out there. You have a home here, and I want you to know that you are as much a part of this crew and a part of this ship as anyone. So I want you to know that that I think of you as you are important to all of us. Puts cake in her mouth. Puts so much cake in her mouth.
Nat sort of looks at you for a moment, just kind of his head tilted. Thank you. I mean, I'm not particularly worried about Uriah, but thank you. Oh, do we just
no. Hello?
I think we lost Lauren.
All right, I'm in charge now.
No, wait, no, I'm in charge now.
This is now everything has to be based on an 80s pop song.
What? What are you talking about? I have more depth than that. How dare you? Everyone, we're gonna give our
Africa.
Sometimes you just got to sit back and crank up the Toto, man. What can I say? All right, everybody, we're going to take a break. Hopefully, we can get our navigator back quickly. We'll reset the cameras and be back with you in a second regardless. But wait, and we shall return.
Hi, everything's fine. Where were we?
I think we were getting close to the wrapping up Kale and Nat's.
Yes.
But I think Nat's just, it's nice to know that at least I have a place here. I may have burned some bridges when I left, but
Well, your family doesn't sound like people I would want to be around. They treat you that way, so burn bridges.
It's not. They didn't treat me poorly. I don't want to give you the idea that they're.
Well, no, they're
bad
not like
people,
monsters, but I don't know. You are your own person, and if they can't accept you for being your own person, then that's their problem. It's not a burned bridge. That's something that they're going to have to deal with if they want to love you the way that you need to be loved by your family.
Yes. Well, that's why I'm going to see Uriah.
Yes.
I'm not worried about him. He's something special.
I hope so.
Rose-colored glasses. This is really good, by the way.
It's so good.
You are an amazing cook, baker, chef. I'm not really sure what the term is.
Baker's probably more accurate. I'm not a real good regular cook. I like the science behind like bacon. Like cooking is a whole nother other thing.
On Elysium, we'd call you a patisserie.
Oh, that's fancy. Say that again.
And on that note, as we pull back from two new friends sharing cake, we pull back through this rose-colored stained glass window and move back into the dark galley. Captain Vance, why don't you set the scene for us?
The scene in the past, this is where we're setting.
Where are you physically right now? And then we'll move.
Sitting in the corner of the galley. I assume waiting the approach of his first mate. He is deep into his cups, but he's not really there.
Where is he?
Years ago. He's at an estate function. Some imperial get-together nonsense, really. But it was an important one nonetheless, because for the first time his little girl had a chance to come with him. And she was so excited. She loved to dance, and she just knew that someone would ask her, and that she'd be able to put her trade and her passion to practice. And as youth often does, it was grand in the dreaming, but poor in the execution. And through the blur of alcohol, he would see her get rejected by her peers. He would stand and move toward her.
She's wearing a periwinkle blue dress below her knees. Her long blonde hair is up high in, I guess, what the kids would say was the style back in the day. She's about 10, right? Slight for her age, but through her dancing, she's starting to become strong. She's biting down on her lip hard, which you can see from across the room, and as you move toward her, her brow furrowed. She's fidgeting.
Lady Gwen.
Captain Jack. And she kind of pulls up her head and stands straight. She puts her arms down by her side.
Jack Brannigan is standing resplendent in his Imperial officer's uniform, his hair pulled back in a perfect tail, greased in the proper form, but as she likes it, a tendril of it just creeping over his ear out of place. And he snaps a bow to his daughter. Lady Gwen, I have been ordered here to ask you to do me the honor of a dance.
She kind of looks around you. All the fellows who said no to her pale in comparison to the figure that you strike as you cross this room. She looks around, holds her chin up higher. She holds out her hands. I accept.
Very well. He takes the hands and he bows low to her level. And with the tendril of hair that's loose from the rest of its proper containment, he whispers into her ear, if those fools won't dance with you, my girl, then you show them what they're missing. He pulls back up. And Vance, without a hitch in his stride, lets his daughter do her magic.
She leads the way, spinning you around the floor. This is what she excels at. This is what she's been working on for weeks, even longer. And she's got her mouth kind of quirked up. One side smiles more than the other as her wild blue eyes that are just like yours look back. She takes time to wave at your wife, who watches from the sides, holding her hands together. She was worried, but you know she's not now. But Gwen, not wanting to ruin the dance, returns her face to yours as you keep spinning and spinning and spinning. And then everything starts to get blurrier. She's still smiling, but there's someone that your head keeps meeting in the crowd. A man, bald, glasses, pointed beard, in similar uniform to you, though not quite as grand, with a crow emblazoned on his jacket. And Gwen is still spinning you. If you try to stop, you can't. Her arms are strong, and you're whirling, and you can see that man walking towards you, getting closer.
Baby, wait a minute. Wait. Gwen, stop.
The sound of his footsteps echo. It's like all you can hear. There is no music. The lights begin to fade except for one on him, as he gets closer and closer, and she won't stop. She's smiling, but it's not Gwen's smile now.
Baby, stop.
She stops.
He moves to stand in front of his daughter. Do I know you, sir?
The man does not speak. Your vision is blurred after the spinning. But Gwen tugs on your hand.
A moment, Gwen.
No, it's all right, Daddy. And she lets go of your hand and starts to move toward this man who is smiling down at her.
Gwen, come here and get behind me. He's moving to pull her back.
It seems like she's gotten too far ahead somehow. She shouldn't be able to move that fast.
Gwen.
She doesn't
here,
even
baby.
turn around.
Gwen! Shanti!
You can hear your wife screaming from somewhere in the darkness.
Shanti! Gwen, come here! Gwen, come here now!
Gwen stops. She's right in front of this man. She turns around to look at you.
Come here. Come here. Your mama needs us. Come here.
She's smiling blankly at you as the man puts his hands on her.
You touch my girl!
He tilts it back and forth.
Gwen! God damn it.
He lifts up one of her arms and pops it out as if she were a doll. He drops the limb to the floor. He reaches for the other one. Drops it. And she's just staring at you. Her smile's finally gone. Daddy?
Baby. I'm here, baby. I'm here. Just come here. Just come here.
She tries to walk towards you now. There's no blood anywhere. It's like an empty vacuum where they used to be. The man puts his hand on her shoulder and pulls her back.
Goddamn hand off of her!
He reaches up to her head and twists. And Kale walks in the room behind you.
The music that was playing. Yeah. Happy birthday to you.
We move through a little bit of time as Kale and Vance talk. This new family. And Vance begins to lope toward Art's room. But as you move through the halls, all of you in the Owl can hear the crushing of metal. You look out one window, a clamp of sorts seems to be there, a long extended tube attached to it. If you look out the other way, another. And Snargle, in front of you, you see a large pirate ship. And that's where we're going to end tonight. Okay. Yes, I assume some kind of music change is happening and everyone's, yep, not gonna make eye contact with anyone. Nailed it. Let's go around and check in with everybody, see how everyone's doing. Let's go in reverse order because everyone got hurt, so there's no good place to start. Nat.
I mean, I think out of everyone, Nat got hurt the least here. I feel like his dream was mostly pleasant right up until the very end there, and it was the worst. I feel like Nat was the man. Y'all fuck me up. But yeah, I feel like Nat got out of that one a lot easier than the other.
All right, I'll make a note for next time.
No, it hurt a lot. But that was great. All of your scenes were so amazing, and you're all amazing role players. That was just right in the heart, and I'm really glad we got to role play the first time Uriah and Nat met. I'm real glad, and I'm sure chat's real glad we got to play that one out. But yeah, I can't wait till next week. Can it just be next Monday already, please?
Where can we find you on the internet, Tommy?
I am Imperator Pengu on the Twitter sphere. I do tabletop RPG stuff, where apparently, their theme is just to fuck me up in general. Just all of them, just all tabletop RPGs. Follow me on Twitter. I've got a postie with my schedule on there and when and where I'll be. It's for the most part accurate right now. It'll get updated either tonight or tomorrow, but it's pretty much all the same for the moment. But yeah, follow me there and, come see me get fucked up in other places.
Come see me get fucked up in other places. That's great. I like that. Kiana, what's up, girl? How you doing?
I think I was on the verge of tears for like 90% of that episode, so cool.
So job well done.
Yes.
Me.
Jesus, Lauren, you are a master at crafting those fucking nightmares. Oh my god. Those were surreal and hard-hitting, and ow, I felt those stabs real hard. Whew, boy. I need it to be next week already so we can play this. Just being able to see everybody's more of their backstory and just this family that's being built and then Artemis on the side. Yeah, I don't like confrontation in real life, but I'm really excited to see this conversation between Cyrus and Artemis, especially after that fucking scene. Man, it's gonna be interesting.
I hear we're having a spa episode.
That's exactly what it's gonna be.
Where can we find you on the internet, Key?
You can find me over on Twitter at KianaS. Best way to forget what I'm doing, because I'm over the internet playing role-playing games almost every day of the week. But you can find me back here on this channel on Wednesdays for May Black Roses Bloom, where I also get stabbed a lot in the fields. It's just me on this channel. It's just like, hey, how many things can we just stab? And the thing is, it's all me. I just give the knives to my GMs and just sharpen them. It's all good.
Perfect. I love it. Alice.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
This was such a good session, and Lauren as a DM you're freaking awesome at it, I just want to say. And also, I just love it. I love that you're my DM. I love everyone in this crew because everyone's an awesome role player. It was so fun watching everyone's scenes. As everyone says, is it Monday yet? I love this game so much. It makes my week happier. So I absolutely adore this game. Other than that, I'm White Rabbit Pick. That's where you can find me on Twitter. I DM and play over on the Scratchicus Academy 5 days a week, and when I'm not there, I'm here playing Lady Blackbird and also the awesome Highlander Cypher System game, which also has some seriously awesome RP on it as well. So please go check that out. Thank you.
Serena!
Oh, yeah, this episode. Ooh-wee. I love this crew. I love everyone's commitment to all of the stuff that Lauren is throwing at us. So great. Oh, seriously, Lauren, you're a wonderful DM, and I am very grateful to be in this game with you at the helm. On the internet, you can find me on Twitter, Serena X Marie, or on the Dungeon Rats. We stream every other Tuesday. It's a really silly game. It is all Chicago improvisers, and we sit on my couch, and we just are all disasters. So it's at 8:30 Central Time. And if streams aren't your thing, we're also a podcast. This is our 3rd season, so I'm excited about that. Also, you can catch me on Sunday at 12 Central with Rivals of Waterdeep. We stream from the D&D Twitch channel, and it's a whole lot of fun. Lots of puzzles this season, so that's hard for me. But yeah.
That's awesome. Everybody was so great tonight. I'm scared to go to my friend Greg. Greg, what's up? Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, how are you doing? Had a great time, and I want to say before I say anything else that today on GM Appreciation Day, I am very appreciative of my friend Lauren, who put together a fantastic twisted episode. Quite frankly, it's something that this crew needed. There was way too many feels and smooching for my tastes. I needed some hardcore, horrific, disease-ridden nightmares, and Lauren was able to provide that in spades. It was a fantastic tour de force by everyone. It's gonna be a while before I get the vision of Snargle hunkered down beneath his console, watching the world burn, banging the side of that. That one fucked me up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. That got me in my black heart. And so I'm with everybody in chat. This was a great one. Really had a ton of fun. Love playing Cyrus Vance. Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team here on the Twitch. I will promote the following. We have May Black Roses Bloom, 8 p.m. on Wednesday night. That is the first of our 3-episode finale arc. We have the season finale of Dungeon of the Mad Mage on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll be over on the Scratchicus Academy from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday, doing a little Perfection Shadow, which is Star Trek, and it's super fun. And the teaser for that one is Borg. The Borg will be there this Friday. And then on Sunday, I have the incredible privilege of having Alice back on the channel, along with Jonathan Pruitt from WebDM and from Summer from Off the Table, as we play a little bit of Highlander, If on a Winter's Night, at 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. And then I believe 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a little Heisting of the Honey with the Project Athena crew here on the channel to bring back a little lightheartedness after... we've started the week off weird. Hopefully we can end it with a little honey heisting. But I loved it. Lauren, what do you have to say, my friend?
What do I have to say for myself? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good and not guilty or scared. Real good. Confidence is key to GMing. There we go. I did it. I'm Lauren. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm Matt Salty Ginger over on Twitter. I am part of the team here at Tales from the Grim, and I play games around the internet with my friends over on the Spartacus Academy and on Off the Table. Yeah, that's what I do. I love doing it. It rules. This is my favorite thing to do. These people are incredible. Oh, my mind was blown. And my heart is full. That's all I have to say. Caw? Good night.
Caw. And as the campfire goes down, there's one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, but you can always role play with a twisted GM like Lauren, if you're lucky. See you next week. Oh, we're going to Scrat. Stick around for that.
Yeah. Damn